Hi everybody, we got a video today to go over how to install and mount the new optional hoods we just released for the Sprint car. So this is going to be the option 1 hood. This has got the square airbox up here and then a nice tapered down nose area. Oops, this is going to be the option 2 hood. This has got the squared airbox and then the slight just angle on the front. You've seen these on a lot of the Sprint cars out there running today, so I want to give you some options for this. The other part you're going to need is a dash piece. We're going to sell all three of these pieces separate, and mainly because when you buy this dash piece, you're probably not going to have to buy it again. So we don't want to, unless you change your paint job or something, so we wanted to sell this separate. So this is going to be a 3D printed part. You're going to have to put this in the chassis because it's 3D printed. Make sure when you install the screws, you don't over tighten them because it will strip out pretty easy. So we'll start with the dash portion to show you how that goes in the car. So when you get your car, take the side panels off, you're going to want to remove this front bar in the cage right here. And you're going to want to take that out, set that aside, save that in case you ever want to go back to the standard hood. Then you're going to install the new dash piece. This new dash piece has two little pins right here, one on one side, one on the other side. And that's going to go in the frontmost hole of the cage on both sides here. So just slide that in there, get one side line up there. Take the other side and you kind of flex the cage up just a little bit and get that to drop in there. And you're going to notice that it's loose in here, and we're going to show you how to position that so when you trim everything comes out right. So next thing you're going to want to do is take your side panel, and you can either use the side panels that came with the car, you can get a new clear ones, you can use the new arm guard ones. The beauty of this dash piece is you can use the existing side panel. You don't have to buy a brand new panel. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put that on the car and get the holes to line up. Go ahead and install a few of the screws. We recommend putting these two ball stud screws in the back, put two in the front. Same thing when you do the other side, just put the one in the back and the one in the front. And then you're also going to want to put this screw right in the top here. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want the dash to be really tight against the cage. As I mentioned, you'll kind of see this is loose. When you put this screw in, it's going to tighten it up. But we also added a second screw hole right down here, so that when you get this in there, you can push this down nice and tight up against the cage. And then you can transfer that hole into your panel, and you can put the two screws that we gave you with the dash kit in that hole. And that holds that dash portion nice and tight back against the cage, and this will also help the alignment for the hood. So go ahead and do that, and then once you get that hole in there, then if you have a clear panel, you can draw a line right up the front of the dash right here, and then you can cut this panel. If you already have painted panels, you can go from the back side, maybe take an X-Acto knife or something, and just kind of scribe up there to give you a line to cut on. So once you get that in, you'll cut that off, and then you'll be left with this front portion. Now the front portion you can either run without it. You can put the two screws in here, or the two ball studs and this screw in here, and you can cut this. You can either cut it straight up, you can cut it at an angle, you can go from this angle, or this bar here, up to there. Just make sure you run this front screw though, because that'll keep the panel nice and tight on the car. And we'll show you that panel here in a second. So do this side, take this side off. It's easier to take this side off, then do this side here. Make sure that dash is nice and tight up against there. So here's a car that we did. This is a red car that we painted up so you can kind of see it. So you can see this front panel here. We cut this one at an angle like that, but you can cut it, you can run without it, whatever look you want. This just kind of gives you a lot of options. And then you can see this trimmed here. That's what it's supposed to look like. And then this side here trimmed as well. So it just there again, this whole hood option just gives the car a completely different look, as you can kind of see there. And like I said, we got the two option hoods, and we'll probably do some more option hoods later, but this is the ones we have for right now. So when you get to trimming the hoods, we have scribe lines on the hoods, and what you're going to want to do before you cut anything out is start at the front and trim across this front line right here on both, either one of the hoods that you have. There's a line there. Now we don't have any hole there for the front screw, and we did that for a reason. So after you trim that front section there, then go ahead and trim the scribe lines down the side. When you get to the back scribe lines, it's going to go up against the dash. We recommend leaving that like 1/8 of an inch past the scribe line. Leave more material there than what you need. And the reason we do that, the reason we say that is if you didn't get this dash like nice and tight up against the cage, if it's out a little bit, it's no worry, but this will give you a little bit of material to trim there. So when you get that, trimmed out, leave it an 1/8 inch long, test fit the hood, and then trim this to fit your dash how you have it mounted. And that way you can get that fit to look really good there, no matter where this dash piece came out. So do that. There again, on both hoods, it's the same way. Leave that long, trim it. Once you get that trimmed, once you get it to fit where you want, you'll get it so that the hood should be just either flush with the front bar here, or you can be back just a little bit. Then once you get that in there, mount the hood on there. You can easily see that hole, and then just pop that hole in. The other thing is, on the cage, there's the back wing mount screw and then the panel screw here. Those screws are a little bit long, and when you trim the hoods, the trim line is left so that those screws will actually hit the body. And we did that so if you want to poke holes in the body here, you can actually just squeeze the hood and use those screws to hold the front of the body on instead of using this front screw. Whatever works for you, kind of gives you some options, whatever you want to do there. But if you don't want to mess with that and you want to run the screw there, you may just have to trim it farther back up the line here. And like I said, because it's clear, you can see that and you can trim it as needed. So after you get everything trimmed, you get it all painted, one of the things you're gonna have questions on is how to get the hood in and out. It's a little more difficult than the standard hood. So we're gonna show you here on this car. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have to like fish it up the side. So pull the back out, and the sides are really flexible on this, so you can flex it past the down tube bar, and then just kind of flex the hood like this, and it'll come right out of there. Just like that. So when you go to put this in, put the nose section in first, kind of feed this down in here, get it down in between the front wing, underneath there, get it underneath, in the middle of the front wing, and then these panels will just bend nice and easy, and you can just pop it right in there. So when you go to mount this, you're going to put the body in that groove right there, and then it's got some return flanges here to help hold the body out. So you get that in there, make sure that's on that side, make sure it's out here, and then just put the screw in and you're good to go. So I think that's everything that's on these. If you have any questions when you're mounting these, trimming them, whatever, just hit us up on our support email or our social media pages, and we'll get right back to you. Like I said, just take your time on it. It's pretty easy to do. If you just trim a little bit at a time, you won't go too far and make a mistake and have to get another one. One thing on the dash portion, it is 3D printed, so you can paint this. You can use like model paint, like Tester's model paint. You can see like on this car here how much of it shows. It's not a lot of it, but if you want it to match your paint job, you can either, vinyl will stick to it pretty good. If you want to paint it, like I said, you can paint it no problem. So hope you enjoyed the product. Let us know if you have any questions. Make sure you keep watching our website and social media pages for new products to come. And thanks for watching.